hear that fucking psychopath?
I did. Well, why was
Dude, he was running all the way over there to fucking Tom's yard, and I picked him up, and he's like, the
whole time?
The whole fucking time. Dude, he's acting like a goddamn brat.
Oh my god.
Like, that was so fucking annoying.
I literally was like, is that Gino faking it? Because it was like the whole time.
No, I picked him up from there all the way to the front door. He's like, ugh.
Yeah, he was so loud.
Fucking psychopath.
Oh my god. He really didn't want to come back inside.
Oh, fuck, it's garbage day. Alright. Well, I hope I'm in the whole frame here. Let's start with a little shoulder warm up. But get one of these bands, these braided bands, not connected to a cable. It creates like this like unstable oscillation, but also I have tension when I separate, and I also have tension pulling me forward. So the idea here is I'm warming up the backs of my shoulders, because today I'm gonna do some arms and a little bit of shoulder work. And what I wanna try to do is get as neutral as possible, which means get my shoulders all the way backwards by pumping a bunch of blood into my upper traps and the backs of my shoulders. This also helps with a little bit of external rotation. So you see people warming up with this. I like to actually warm up with this band. So going straight above the head, nice big pinch, coming into a Y here. And I shoot for about like 12 or 15 of these. It shouldn't be difficult. You don't want to load a bunch of weight. It's not about the weight. It's more about squeezing and opening up. If you can get a big pinch back there, that's all you need. All right, so a big piece of that too is seeing how far I can get my arms all the way behind the head, okay? Because the further I go backwards, like this, the more I'm gonna stretch open my chest and all the things that internally rotate my shoulder to the inside. Those are the things that usually cause people pains and problems in their shoulders, because you got your big chest muscles and your lats that will internally rotate your shoulders towards each other. So you want to do everything you can to open them back up, because that's going to allow more exposure, especially when I'm trying to hit my biceps. So I want to make sure I'm in a nice neutral position when I start hitting those. Hello, my prisoner. How's your taste of freedom this morning, huh? Yeah, right. Okay, Friday. I haven't really filmed all week, and I'm not very happy about that. It's been a crazy fucking week. I'm actually going to be updating you on a little bit that's been happening recently, and also just kind of tell you what's been going on with my overall energy, because as we get closer to the show, it keeps going down. You can't go. You can't go. You can't go with us. You see what I deal with? You see what I deal with? Fucking psycho. And his breath smells like hot garbage. Get a chihuahua, they say. It'll be fun, they say. Alright, get your back. Looks like we went through an update last night. Something interesting about these Teslas is it's got to update like a computer, because it fucking is a computer. So it'll ask for like an update sometimes, and it tells you all the information that it updates, and it adjusts. So I generally start off all of my quad focus leg days with some sort of adduction work to help loosen up my hips. I do find that people get very tight on the inside of their legs, especially when they wake up in the morning. I mean, most of the time when you're sitting, your legs are closed too. They're not open like this. So the inside of the legs get very tight, and that will restrict your movement throughout your hips and your knees, and it will cause you to limit a lot of the tension that you could develop over your legs. So something I like to focus on is really loosening up and opening all the way from the adductors. You'll feel how tight they are too when you first get started. And then from there, that's when I'll start hitting my squatting movements. That's what I'm going to start with today. I'm going to do a couple sets of this here. Nice and light, slow and controlled. Just really focusing on trying to stretch those adductors out. Alright, so it doesn't look like I'm going on the Smith machine right now, because some lady's on there stretching. Oh, funny how that works. Anyway, I'm at a squat rack. I do not want to squat with free weight. I just feel like it doesn't feel the best on my back, my knees. I have really long femurs, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure something out. I might just warm up with some lunges and ask this lady how many sets she's got left. I don't know. Until then, I'm gonna do a little bit of warm up. Maybe I'll do some step ups. Maybe I'll do some split squats on a band. Maybe I'll hit that. Let me get some stuff. All right. So I had to run around the gym to try to find this safety bar, and somebody took the pad off it. I usually do this second, but it looks like we're doing it first today. So when I do this split squat, let me show you what this looks like. So I have this band right here. That's where my foot goes. And I bring my knee all the way down to that pad. I'm gonna put that over my back, and I'm gonna split my stance. It's like a split squat. That way I can get more glute activation. So I'm gonna sit backwards into the band. Let me show you how this looks. Just like that. Now, I actually did these on my last leg day, but I didn't provide any commentary. So the idea of this band is, you know, when you have a fixer, a lot of people put their foot like on a bench or something, and it's like a fixed surface. And sometimes they'll feel pressure in their ankle, their foot, or in their knee, because they're putting so much weight on that back foot, and that box doesn't bend, or that bench doesn't bend. But with this band, it will actually dip down, and it'll take the pressure off of my knee, so I can get a deeper stretch into my glute without getting too much stress on that back knee or ankle. So it provides a lot better platform for me to push off that front foot without having any extra stress on my back knee or ankle. So I highly recommend you give that a shot. Now, when you don't have a safety bar, you can use some dumbbells, you can use some kettlebells, and just kind of load them at your sides. But I like this safety squat bar because I feel like I can hinge forward a little bit more. And also, I'm not constantly concerned with my grip holding onto the weights. And it's loaded on top of my spine instead of in front of me. So I prefer it with this bar. If you don't have it though, dumbbells, kettlebells, anything works. But just go ahead and find what you have available to you and give this a shot. You're also gonna need a rack. As you can see, with this, I have that band hooked across. So if you don't have one of these racks, it'll be pretty difficult to emulate. But the point of that band is to dip down, like I said, and to take that pressure off the knees. So I'm gonna add some weight to it now and do my real sets. Yep. Okay, also something else. I'm holding onto the rack, but I'm not actually assisting myself up. I'm doing it so I can hinge without getting any external stress on my back by positioning myself so I don't lean forward too much. So it kind of keeps me in an upright position where my hands are out in front of me like that. And to make sure that my range is smooth going up and down even when I lean forward a little bit to get more stress on my glutes. So that's the trick there, is if you just go straight up and down, and you keep your upper body in an upright position, you're gonna get a lot of quad. If you get a little bit of a hinge, you lean forward, you'll put some stress in your glutes too. So, depending on what you're trying to develop more of. That still felt pretty light. So I'm probably gonna add another 10 on each side, and then go from there. You have to make sure you get the same 10s. I'm OCD about that shit, so if you have, you know, for instance, let me see. There we go. If you have one that looks like this and one that looks like this, and you put them each on, that fucking stresses me out. So I need to make sure that they look the same. Because I don't know, maybe there's some wear and tear on it. You know, maybe you shaved off a half of a pound from wear and tear. I want it to be even as possible. So I get the plates that look pretty aesthetic. They're not worn down, they look the same, and that's that. Ooh, light. Easy. All right, let's go up a little bit more. Let's go to a 25. Little sip of the old sauce here. There's some EAAs this morning. Whew. Man, the skin on my legs is getting awfully tight. And I'm fucking flat as hell right now. I wonder what's gonna happen when I add some more carbs in. All right, let's hit this fucking set. Hop. Excellent. That was good. Yep. Yep. Oh, shit. One of my trainers. Oh, fuck. That was much better in terms of weight. Man. I'm feeling the energy difference in terms of it being way less than it normally is. Now, I enjoy legs, so pushing through it usually isn't my issue. And ever since I've been eating in the mornings, significant change in performance. I was previously eating after my workout only, and I just had some liquids, and I realized I had literally no fucking energy. So I just decided to wake up earlier, wake up at 4 now, and then I have my 230 grams of egg whites, 1 whole egg, 60 grams of oats, 20 grams of raisins, and I added an extra 5 grams of honey this morning. Not that that's really going to be significant in terms of calorie load, but it does give me a little bit of something, you know, extra, because I'm training some legs today. So I also threw some raisins in my shake today to add a little bit more carbs, because when I train legs, I try to increase them just by a little bit. Not much, it's just in my first 2 meals. And then after that, it's literally just meat and fucking salt. All right, I think I'm only gonna do one more here before I move on. Looks like everybody wants to use the Smith machine today, so I am going to instead use this belt squat right here. Let me show you here. So, squatting movement with a belt. You can either use a belt or you can use like a hand attachment to hold onto it. Son of a bitch, stop fucking moving. All right, there you go. Okay, you can either use a belt, which we have right here, or you can use like a hand attachment, almost like a parallel grip that people use for a close grip like pull down. Either one you can use. I think I'm gonna try the belt today, and if that's not feeling good on my back, I'm gonna use something else.
You gotta hit a set? You want me to record you?
No, you're good, man. Thanks. Yep. All right, just wrapped up with the squats. Now we're gonna do a leg press. Now there's a bunch of different leg presses to choose from. You got like horizontal ones, you got angled ones, you got more squat presses. Let me show you what I'm talking about. More of like a squat press movement, okay? It's more angled, so when it moves off a pivot. This one's more of a linear one, which means it just goes straight up and down at about a 45 to 60 degree angle, depending on which one you're using. It's also a squat press moves more off of a hinging movement. I like to use this one. I think this one feels the best. So that is what we are going to do. All right, so the last thing I'm going to be finishing up with is some single leg extensions. I like to try to do them single legs because my quads are not exactly symmetrical. My left one is actually significantly bigger than my right, especially from the side. So I'm going to be doing these on an individual basis. I highly recommend you do it too, because if one of your hips sits slightly higher than the other, right, that means one of your legs will be slightly angled upwards. You know, your knee will come up on an angle. So that means each of your quads are going to stretch differently. So I like to try to do them individually. That way I get good stress on each. All right. Oh, fuck. Okay, single legs here. Do about 100-ish pounds. Okay. Another thing I try to do too is try not to rotate your leg to the outside like this. You want to try to rotate it to the inside. That way you can get a full quad stretch. Because if you open it up this way, part of your quad attaches to the outside of your hip, and you're actually contracting it halfway. So what you want to do is open it up. I try to tuck my leg underneath a little bit, and that way I get a nice full stretch. And you really want to try to pull your butt into the seat. You don't want to elevate off, because that's like kind of cheating, using your own body's leverage to kind of like swing the weight up, and you don't want to do that. So you want to pull yourself into that fucking seat and squeeze. Oh, fuck. Also, point your toe up towards the ceiling. Don't point it down. Always remember, it's feeling, not finished. So it's not about the reps you do, it's about how it feels. And if you can get that contraction and squeeze, doesn't fucking matter how many you do. Your body doesn't know reps, it knows tension. So you gotta squeeze it like it owes you some fucking money. That's how you get them to grow. Ugh. A few more sets here. Okay, so very last thing I'm doing today is for calves, particularly the front of your calves, which most people never hit. And the front of your calves like provide so much definition, and they like really make your knees look more narrow and your quads sweep more. So it's to your advantage to train them. And the only way you can really do that is by having one of these machines right here. Okay, this is gonna go right over my toes, and I'm actually gonna train the front part of my calves with this. So you're gonna see I'm gonna do like a little extension motion with my foot. I'm gonna bring it up like that, and it's going to contract the top part of my calf right up front, and it's going to provide some more swoop and definition at the front of my leg. So let me show you how I do this real quick. So I was on my toes, and I'm on a slight decline bench. That way I get a little bit better angle to it, kind of like when you're doing a tricep extension, you want to lean forward a little bit. Okay? And then all I'm doing is I'm pointing my toes, and I'm trying to squeeze up right here on this muscle. Extend, squeeze. And you want to keep your knees as flat as possible too. You always want to anchor the points where the muscle connects. I don't want to get this bend in my knees right here. I want to flatten them. I already did like 4 sets of this. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Whew. All right, like I was mentioning, that's going to be that front part of the calves that most people don't hit. So it'll add some more profile. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So right here, if you look at that part of the calf, right at the bottom, how it's starting to bow out more, you want to get that roundness coming into the calf right there. And the only way that you can really do that is by doing this extension-based movement. So it adds some more profile there. Let me pull this back a little bit. Money shot right there. How about this one? Those legs are coming in, boys. What's going on, brother? So I'm sitting in Whole Foods parking lot right now. My Friday has come to an end, and it's been an exhausting day. You know, I had 5 employees resign in the last month. Can you guys fucking believe that? And, you know, personal training, especially when you're in a sales environment that kind of like wants you to essentially and encourages you to run your own business. A lot of people come into positions of personal training, especially at a place like Lifetime, and they think, well, I'm going to get a free membership. There's going to be a good client base there. They're going to give me clients. And then they realize very quickly within their first month that, holy shit, I have to learn how to market my services. I have to learn how to sell, and I have to learn how to fulfill on the back end and maintain my book of business, which essentially makes you a full-scale business owner underneath Lifetime's brand, right? And that, I think, for some people is a big scare, you know, and I think it puts a, you know, an unsteadiness because they expected to come into an environment that was going to be simple. They could just train clients. And then they realize that when they have no clients and the pressure's on, it can definitely deter some people. And it definitely weeds out the people who truly are passionate about this versus the ones that want to do it because it sounds like a fun job.
So I've lost 5 employees as a result of, I think it's also the summer months create churn in Arizona because all the snowbirds leave, which is the people that come here for like the winter months, and then they leave for the summer months because it's too hot and they can afford to move for half the year. I think definitely that plays a role in it, in the churn of employees, because if people don't build a solid book of business that lasts them through the summer, they end up taking a hit financially. And when you're in a sales commission role, you will get adjusted to minimum wage as a base. And when you're there for too long, you basically get are like told, hey, you got to produce, otherwise it's like, you know. So such is the nature of reality in terms of the personal training space. When you're trying to build a book of business. So I've lost 5 employees, so that's something I've been trying to deal with. However, I am bringing some new people on the team I'm excited about. I have a head stretch guy that's coming on board that's going to help me expand that sub-department. Because my department essentially has a few sub-departments underneath it. So there's personal training, which is the umbrella. And then we're going to have services like dynamic stretch, which is essentially assisted stretching services. And then we also have Pilates, which is also another service. And then you have just personal training sessions. So it's kind of a couple of different sub-departments. There's a nutrition coaching section as well for NPDs and nutritionals that acts as a sub-department, but that's the one that seems to be hard to find somebody to fit the role for. Because they need to be a personal trainer that's very well versed in nutrition. And although I could do that role, I don't have time for it. So I need to find somebody else to kind of lead that sub-department. So essentially, my job right now is trying to figure out how to organize my business in a way that such we grow. And it's during a slow season right now. And I am implementing a process in place that's going to solve a lot of issues. You know, it's going to allow leads, instead of it being a machine gun being shot in every direction, to be a concentrated beam at my main salespeople that are going to allow them the utility to be able to sell at high volume with 3 bucket high ticket packages. And they're going to be based on market demand. They're going to be based on the things that people need. People are either looking for a generalized routine when they come in because they have no idea how to spend their time. So they would just want to work with a trainer for a short term to help understand how they should be spending their workouts more efficiently, right? So that's one bucket. The second bucket is going to be weight loss, and that's kind of like the tone bucket, we'll say. The people that are looking to lose about like 15 to 20 pounds, that's a pretty fair market share. And then lastly, the last bucket that you qualify people for is essentially a total body transformation. This could be people getting ready for a wedding or some sort of like destination trip. It could be that somebody just has a life transition. They recently become single and they want a revenge body. Who the hell knows, right? There could be many different reasons that drive people to want a total body transformation. Maybe their health's on the decline and they want to be optimized. So there's 3 different buckets. There's a routine, the weight loss, and the full transform. And it's my job to essentially create a system now that's designed around that, so I could have back-end specialists that end up fulfilling on those things. So once you create a system, it'll allow people something to hold on to. And then that way they can actually learn to function within a system. Instead of guessing how to spend their time, they know how to spend their time. If you're a specialist in weight loss, well, what lead gen opportunities can you be doing to help you draw traffic? Well, maybe it's some sort of nutrition consultation, right? There's many different avenues, but like right now, I'm trying to create a structure that allows people more certainty to understand how they should be spending their time in a sales-based environment. So when I have that system all into play, it will systemize everything, and I'm looking forward to being able to, crank, turn, and burn in that system. So funnel people to my salespeople, and then the salespeople qualify them into buckets. The buckets are those 3 that I mentioned, and then we have service providers attached to each one of those buckets to allow people to get the results that they're looking for. I'm also going to design programs around each of them, so even the less experienced trainers still know how to actually help their clients see progress. So that's essentially what I got in the works right now for career-wise bodybuilding. I am currently at the end of the 4 weeks out starting tomorrow, which is fucking crazy to think about.
That's crazy.
It is very crazy. So I'll be about 4 weeks out tomorrow, and it's crunch time. I'm really happy with the way that I look right now. I think with the changes that I'm going to make the next couple of weeks, it's going to really tie the total package together. And I'm holding a lot of mass, a lot of density, which a lot of people end up flattening out towards their shows. So I'm not going to make any radical changes. I'm not doing anything intense or severe. I'm just going to kind of coast into the show and just do my best and have fun. And I believe that if I can show up with a clean condition, I believe I'll win. you know. So that's where I'm at with bodybuilding. My energy levels are sucking ass right now. They're getting worse with time as I continue to drop my food closer to show. I trained legs today, so I had a little bit extra carbs, and I had a little bit more in the tank as a result of that. And then I had 2 of those honey stingers today.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't really care for that they have the fat in them, but you know what? I needed some extra carbs, and so I just kind of added them to my beef meal. So I did that, and I didn't do cardio today. We may end up going for a walk. It depends if it's going to be 110 degrees.
I still think you could go.
Yeah. I think I burned a little bit on the back of my neck. You know, one of my trainers came up to me today, and they're like, your back of your neck looks pretty red. Does it look red to you? Doesn't matter who, does it?
It's not that red.
Okay.
It matters who.
Yeah, they were massaging my shoulders. Get out of here. No, they were walking behind me, and they're like, yo, the back of your head's pretty rosy looking. Okay, and then life-wise, Nagar and I are going to see a house tomorrow. I don't really think that we're in the exact position to purchase this home at the current moment. However, it's nice. I think it's a very long-term suitable living situation, at least for the next 5 years or so. I think it has great potential, and I would love if we could find a way to get into something like that. That would definitely make me very, very happy. So we have a viewing tomorrow with one of my clients who's a shark of a fucking real estate agent.
I love her.
And I've helped her significantly in terms of her progress. So she's definitely going to end up helping us out. I've helped lose 25 pounds of pure fat.
Ew. Pure fat.
What do you mean, ew? Say, that's awesome. What do you mean, ew? That's fucking fantastic.
I just like giving you shit.
Yeah, anyway. Okay. So, yeah. And I am absolutely fucking starving right now. We may have to eat before we go on a walk. It's going to stay bright for a long time. And then, yes. So that is the way the cookie crumbles. And we're going to head home now. And I think I'm just going to wrap the vlog up here. You know, this has been an interesting... I think I've only filmed a few days, to be honest. It's been an interesting week. Adjusting to this new dietary change has been interesting. However, the back half of the week definitely showed that progress, wouldn't you say?
Huh?
And I said the back half of the week definitely shown the progress of the changes I made. So I'm going to continue on this path, keep tightening up for the show, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, preferably, or just continue to watch them, whatever, either way. And I hope to see you on the next one.